through the Great Tribulation. Now, looking at a little more of the blessing, or really, I think, curse, that Esau was given, it says, by your sword shall you live. In other words, violence, pillaging, that shall be Esau's way of gaining wealth and prosperity. And as I have explained on a number of occasions.
All right, now you heard the point, but before I do the lesson, I'm going to say all praises to Yahweh Ba'Hasham Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hasham Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. And this is going to be a video on how Esau is a hypocrite, man, right? And a real slippery individual, because they don't mind Esau existing whenever they want him to exist. But every single time Hebrew Israelites say that Esau still exists, and we say that the Caucasian race of the Edomites, they're like, oh, nah, that ain't real. That ain't true. And they try and say, oh, you have to love him this, you have to love him that. But none of these same people make comments on this video here. You'll see several comments on a Hebrew Israelite video about Esau, right? But how comes none of these people have came to this part of the Bible to also let these people know these same scriptures? I've read these comments down here, and it's mainly Israelites saying that this guy's an Edomite himself, but it ain't none of these Christians that want to try and say, oh, but you're not supposed to abhor an Edomite and none of that. You notice how none of that thou shalt not abhor an Edomite stuff gets said whenever people are saying that the Edomites are the Arabs. It's only, they only know that thou shalt not abhor an Edomite scripture whenever it comes to so-called white people being the Edomites, right? They always got scriptures of protection in that way. And that's not me trying to play defense for the Ishmaelites, because they're also a nation that has helped keep the Israelites down anyway. They've helped punish us, man. They've helped oppress us, right? So forget them too. But we have to tell the truth, man. We're not here to be lying about who people are, man. Right now, this guy said in this video, he said pillaging and stealing was the way how Esau was going to get his wealth. And he tried to say that that's proof that the Ishmaelites have been given a blessing of the sword. But here it is that the Edomites, the so-called white race themselves, are stronger at pillaging. you know what I mean? They've literally came over to the land of Israel when those people are over there, and they've been able to put themselves in the land using the sword, using weapons. So if Esau, as they're saying it, is the Ishmaelites, they would have been able to stop them doing that with the sword. But it's actually the real Edomites that have been able to use the sword to get over in there, and they've got a better ability to pillage. And that's why over there in the land right now, you've got Edomites stealing and robbing up their homes over there and kicking them out of places that they lived, not the other way around, right? But it just shows that these guys are hypocrites, man. Let me read.
In other words, violence,
1 second.
pillaging. Now, looking at a little more of the blessing, or really, I think, curse, that Esau was given, it says, by your sword shall you live. In other words, violence, pillaging, that shall be Esau's way of gaining wealth and prosperity.
Now, how did the Caucasian race get America? How did they get it? How did they get it? Did they not use the sword? Did they not pillage? Did they not steal? That's what Esau does. He's right when he's saying that. But for him to be trying to find that and trying to say that that's among what the Ishmaelites have did, the nerve, because you've used the sword and violence to pillage them. So if they're good at pillaging, which I'm not saying that they're not, you're better though. So you show more signs of you being an Edomite than them showing signs of them being an Edomite, just by you using that as a way to say that's how they're going to live, which you're not wrong to use that point to say that that's something that the Edomites would do, because it is. Right? That is something that the Edomites would do. But who does that better than the so-called white race? Who? Nobody. Right? Nobody, man. Micah chapter 2 and verse 2, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. You'll find way more people that are Ishmaelites, right, that are trying to dress in suit and ties, man, going on The Apprentice, going to a business interview and that, right? You'll see them that's the way that they now, among their younger to middle-aged men, that's the way that they think it is to dress smart, right? And they'll reject the way of the dress code of their own people when they're trying to be in a smart dressed way, right? They'll reject it. Whereas you won't see 20 to 30, 40-year-old Edomite men, right? So-called white men wearing the Arab clothes and copying their way, because it's the Esau's oppressed everyone else's ways. The Edomites have oppressed everyone else's heritage. They've used their wine, their ideas of how they think the world's supposed to go, and they've influenced the world. It's not the other way around, man. And for this guy to try and use that point to try and say that that's the Edomites, the nerve. And let me go back and see what he says.
And as I have explained on a number of occasions, for now, just know that much, though by no means all, of the Arab world carries with them the genes of Esau.
Now, this is hilarious because there'll be several Christians at one point they'll say, "Oh, Esau's done away with," right? But if you're a person that you believe Esau's done away with, then anytime you hear anyone say that Esau exists, you should be coming across it. This video has got 41k views, man. But I'll see a video about that Hebrew Israelites are talking about Esau that might have 1,000 views. And some of them videos will have more comments than this. In the past, there used to be several Israelite videos, like literally around 5 years ago, that wouldn't have had nowhere near as many views as this, but would have had way more comments with people saying, "Oh, nah, thou shalt not abhor this, thou shalt not abhor that." But where are those people for this? These people are just hypocrites, man. It's always convenient for Esau to exist whenever Esau wants him to exist. Isn't that ridiculous? Esau keeps bringing back Esau to exist, while at the same time trying to hide that he's Esau. Isn't that ridiculous? Like Esau's a madman. You know, when you really get into how his mind works, it's like he's trying to do this. Esau's trying to make out like another nation of people are Esau, right? Destroy all of that other nation somehow, right? So then Esau can die in existence by him destroying another nation. Esau's thinking he can pass over the Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 18 prophecy onto another nation. But that's not going to happen, man. That's what he's going to go through. He's going to be the real Edomites, man, that are going to go through Obadiah. You ain't going to be able to pass it off on Ishmael. No, Ishmael is going to be servants to the real Israelites, man. You ain't going to be able to pass off that Obadiah prophecy onto another nation. Nah. Okay, the Ishmaelites come from Abraham, right? But you ain't going to be able to pass off what your judgment is onto them. You know what I mean? That's not going to happen, man. The real Edomites that really punished the real Israelites, right? They're going to have to pay for what they did. And this guy even tried to say that the enmity that the Ishmaelites have and the Edomites have in the land of Israel, that's because of the blessing and all that. No, that's the reason why the so-called white race hates the so-called black man, the so-called Latino man, and the so-called Native American man. That's the reason why. Because we've got a better blessing in them. Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 18, and the house of Jacob will be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh have spoken it. So Esau, you ain't slick, man. You ain't gonna be able to try and pass off your judgment onto another nation, man. Right? You ain't gonna be able to hide the Israelites and say, "Oh, the Israelites are Hamites now." You ain't gonna be able to hide who you are and try and say, "Okay, they're Ham and I'm Israel," and then say, "Okay, since people don't want to believe that Esau's done away with, I'm gonna have to now try and make another nation in the world be Esau." And who would be a convenient person for me to use? Well, I can't use the real Israelites and say that they're Esau, because then people are gonna say, "What? It says that they're twins," so then that means that they obviously had to look the same, because some people don't believe in that fraternal twin stuff. So then I'm gonna have to try and use a nation that's already a hindrance to me anyway, and they're trying to fight against me for me to claim the whole land of Israel anyway, that I've stole from the real Israelites, and I want them out of the land anyway, so that I can have control over that whole region. So let me just say that the people that are the other Gentile nations that are fulfilling the prophecy in Ezekiel 36 that speaks about how you know what? Let me read that, because there's a prophecy in Ezekiel 36 that goes into how the heathen have got control over the land of Israel, but Esau's thinking that he can pass off and say that, oh, the other people that are in the land of Israel as well, that are also stealing this land from the real Israelites. Oh, they're Edomites, and they need to be destroyed. And then when I destroy them, if I was able to, then I can try and make it like Esau don't exist anymore. You know what I mean? Nah, man, you exist, so that means Esau exists, man. As long as you Edomites are still talking, right, out your mouths, calling yourself American, British, and all of these fake terms, Swedish, Switzerland, and I'm a Swiss and all that, right? As long as we keep seeing you do that, you exist. So therefore, Esau exists, man. Straight up. Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 1. Also, thou son of man, prophesy unto the mountains of Israel, and say, Ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because the enemy have said against you, aha, even the ancient places are ours in possession. And this is many enemies, but the main one are the Edomites, man. Verse 3. Therefore prophesy and say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side, that ye might be a possession of unto the residue of the heathen, and ye are taken up in the lips of talkers and are the infamy of the people. So there's many nations that have got control over the land of Israel right now, right? But the main one are the Edomites, and Esau's trying to think he can be slick, right? And that, okay, because I want to have the whole control over the land of Israel, because I've got things I want to do with the land, right? Let me say that these other people, who's more convenient for me to say that's the Edomites than them, because we are all these things that he's saying about how there will be Edomites mixed among these people. He's not wrong, right? Some of those people that are looking like Ishmaelites now over in the land of Israel really are Edomites, because they've been mixing with people that look like him, and he's an Edomite, so he's not even lying when he says that, right? He's not lying, but he's trying to think he can try and cast away part of Esau and try and say that the whole Esau is done away with by them killing out some of their people, man. And that's what these Edomites don't understand. Esau is prepared to throw anyone under the bus in order to steal Jacob's blessing, man. He's down for that. He don't care. He don't business. He's down to do that, man. All you low-level Edomites that you want to try and now say, oh, it's not, that you used to say, oh, it's not us, it's the elites. And now you're saying, oh, it's not us, it's the JOOs. Listen, man, you're the same nation as them, but they're more than prepared to throw your low-level asses under the bus, right? So that they can get an escape and sail off into the sunset under their new thing that they're trying to set up, man. Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 4, therefore, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh to the mountains, to the hills, to the rivers, and to the valleys, to the desolate wastes, and to the cities that are forsaken, which are became a prey and a division to the residue of the heathen that are round about. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, so it's other nations that are not Israelites, right? And against all Idumea. So the Edomites are over there in the land of Israel right now. The Idumeans, which is another way of saying Edomite, right? And there's heathen over there. But what Esau is trying to do, right? What the Idumeans trying to do is say that the residue of the heathen are Edomites, and that they need to be kicked out of the land. And the Idumean in this Ezekiel 36 and verse 5, he's trying to say, I'm the Israelite, and the residue of the heathen, they're the Edomites that are trying to take my land, and they need to be taken out of there. That's what he's doing. But really, the Idumean and the residue of the heathen, ain't none of them supposed to be over there, and they're all glorying in how they've stolen the land of Israel, right? Let me read the last bit of this, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. Prophesy therefore concerning the land, and that would be another reason why the Edomites would want to try and throw the Ishmaelites out of there, because the Ishmaelites are not as wicked as them, right? The Ishmaelites are still going to still try and follow somewhat a more righteous way, man. They're not with the whole women liberation up thing to where the women are harlots like that. They're not with it like that, right? They're not with the same kind of completely off diet as Esau. They've got way more of a moral code than what Esau's got, but they're still wicked though, right? They're still not righteous in comparison to the laws of the Israelites. They're still way off, their way, the laws that they think are righteous would not lead to everlasting life if he was to have them implanted into you as a under a new covenant, like how the scriptures speak about how the God of the Bible's laws are going to be put into you as a new covenant, right? The only laws of that can lead to everlasting life being put in you, like how the new covenant is, are the laws of Yahweh. The laws of any other nation being put in you under a thing, it will just make you be a wicked demon, man. Right? Let me read this. Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 6. Prophesy therefore concerning the land of Israel, and say unto the mountains, and to the hills, to the rivers, and to the valleys, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I have spoken in my jealousy and in my fury, because ye have borne the shame of the heathen. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, I have lifted up mine hand, surely the heathen that are about you shall bear their shame. So all of them people over there, they're all gonna get taken out of the land, man. That land don't belong to none of them. That ain't a thing that ain't none of them supposed to be living over there, man. Right? But Esau's trying to think he's slick and that he can pass it off and make out like, oh, nah, someone else is Esau, man. But then they don't like being called it themselves. And now I'm just gonna play this so that you can hear it, man, so that people can understand what kind of things are going on out here, man, and how Esau's trying to use another nation to scapegoat to make Esau eventually be done away with by destroying a large portion of another nation and trying to make it like, oh, okay, Esau's done away with now. Nah. And even Net and Thingy tried it, man. The president of Israel tried it too, and tried to say that Thingy's Amalek and that Hams, tried to say that they're Amalek. They're trying to think they can pass off their judgment on another nation, man, and make another nation have to die the way that they're supposed to. It's like that's what it's like they're trying to do, man. It's ridiculous, but that's not going to happen. And then they're trying to usurp the suffering of the real Israelites and trying to say that they're so oppressed when they've helped to oppress the real Israelites. It's ridiculous.
For now, just know that much, though by no means all, of the Arab world carries with them the genes of Esau. In particular, a large segment of the Turkish population is related to Esau, as are most Syrians and the Kurdish people of Iraq. We should at least have heard of the Ottoman Empire, which ruled the Middle East for many centuries, from about 1300 to just after World War I. The Ottomans were a dominant tribe in the nation of Turkey, and it was these particular Turks who are direct descendants of Esau. And of course, these Turks are Muslim. And we know from Bible prophecy that the Turks are going to play a primary role in the events of Revelation as enemies of Israel.
Mate, but you're an enemy of Israel, man. This guy is my enemy. Do you understand? This guy is my enemy, man. This guy, if you're an Israelite, this guy is your enemy. Because he's trying to make out like he ain't an Edomite. You know what I mean? And he'll be down to be speaking about Esau, yes, worthy of destruction, when it's somebody else that's going to be the Edomite. But then when it's him that's going to be the Edomite, all of a sudden, nah, thou shalt not abhor this, thou shalt not abhor that. And I'm like, hang on. You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. Whenever Esau is talking about what Esau deserves to receive, right? You notice how he's never speaking about no mercy, you know? Isn't that ridiculous? Whenever Esau wants to call somebody else an Edomite, he always talks about them like they don't deserve no mercy. but whenever we say that Esau is an Edomite, right, then all of a sudden he can find a scripture to get mercy for them all of a sudden then. But not whenever he thinks someone's an Edomite. Isn't that ridiculous? And show how much of a hypocrite these people are.
It all comes together, doesn't it? The thing we must also understand is that the majority of Muslims in this world are in some way or another related to Esau, even the ones in Afghanistan.
Esau love calling somebody an Edomite, boy. I'm telling you. Let me skip forward, man. If people want to watch this anyway, here's the name of the video, and they'll be able to find it. It's only like a 4-minute video. But I don't want to have all of this in this lesson.
Through the Great Tribulation. Now, looking at a little more of the blessing, or really, I think, curse, that Esau was given, it says, by your sword shall you live. In other words, violence, pillaging, that shall be Esau's way of gaining wealth and prosperity.
I still can't get how this guy has got the nerve to say that. As if that's not the way how the Caucasian race has got wealth on this earth. Look at how they got America, man. Look at how they got America. Look at how America was made off the destruction of every single one of the 12 tribes of Israel, man. Every single one of the 12 tribes of Israel had a heavy red Edomite boot kicking their ass, man, in order for that land to be that great. And that's why, like, Egypt was so great in the past, in ancient Egypt, man. Ancient Egypt also had the captivity of all the tribes, man. All right, and they built up wealth too during that time. And they also received a heavy judgment, man. And maybe, I'm not trying to say that's the truth exactly. Why? Because there's been other nations that have oppressed all the tribes of Israel too. You can read about it in the book of Judges, right? Other nations have had the chance to have all of the 12 tribes of Israel oppressed. But the Babylonians didn't get the chance to have all the 12 tribes of Israel oppressed. Neither did the Assyrians have all the 12 tribes of Israel oppressed. Right? But America, which is Babylon the Great, has. And so did ancient Egypt, man. And what happened after the Israelites got saved out of there? Out of ancient Egypt, a whole new feast day came. A whole new memorial came, man. And that's the same thing that's going to happen when the Israelites get taken out of Babylon the Great, man, which is America. Let me see what else this guy says.
And
Let's skip it forward a bit.
bands of robbers who descended on caravans that passed through their lands.
Man, I ain't trying to hear all that caravan stuff, what he's talking about. If this guy thinks that people are Edomites because of bands of caravans stealing things, right? Then how much bands of boats bringing the tribe of Judah, Benjamin and Levi over in captivity, right? And stealing up the whole land from the rest of the 12 tribes. How much more would that prove that someone's an Edomite then? Surely that would be even more proof. Not to mention all the other lands of people that are not even Israelites that Esau stole to and implanted his ways of what he thinks life's supposed to be like over there. Shalom to the nation of Israel. Shalom.